And now, here he is, the one, the only...
Sounds like a dog food. Oh, that's me, huh? Well, here I am again with $2,500 for one of our couples. And if any of them say the secret word, the duck will fly down and pay him $100. And the word tonight is clock. Okay, Duck.
Well, Groucho, Mrs. Wanda Klumper and Mr. Roger Sharkey are waiting to talk to you. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Mrs. Wanda Klumpner, is that right?
That's right.
I'll start with you. Where's your hometown, Wanda?
My hometown is in Sommerfeld, Niederlause. It's about 5 hours from Berlin, Germany.
Wow. What is it like in Sommerfeld, in the Niederlause, in the Schnitzelbank, huh?
Kurz und lang.
Kurz und lang, huh?
Kurz und lang.
Kurz und lang in the Schnitzelbank. I do schönes. You know that song?
Oh, yeah.
Ist das
We
nicht
learned
ein
that in
fette
America.
Frau?
Dicke Frau.
Ja,
dicke
das ist
Frau.
ein dicker Sau. Dicke Sau, eine fette
dicke
Frau, eine
Frau.
fette Bock, eine ganze Tag, große
Nicht so
Eier,
lang,
Judenmeier,
nicht so lang.
schönes
Das
Ding,
war
eine
nicht
goldene
so
Ring,
lang.
krummen
Kurz und
Kragen,
lang.
Wagen, Ragen, hinten Hände, große kurzen lang, Schnitzelbank.
Bank.
I do schöne, I do schöne, I do schöne Schnitzelbank. Mr. Sharkey, that's you, huh?
Yes, sir.
What is your first name again?
Roger.
Where are you from, Rog?
I was born in County Roscommon, Ireland.
Sure, and you were born in Ireland.
I was.
In Roscommon, eh?
Yes, sir.
What sort of work did you do in Ireland?
I was farming.
You were farming?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know they did much farming over
Well, we raised cattle there. That's
Cattle?
Mm-hmm.
in Ireland?
And I was kind of a cowboy when I was young.
Oh, a cowboy.
Mhm.
Sort of an Irish Roy Rogers, huh?
Well, you
Did
put
you-
in that order.
Did you play a guitar?
No.
You said you can't sit on a horse and play a harp.
Well, no, that's right. I have violins over there.
You ride a horse and play a violin, huh?
Well, not so good.
Did you ever meet Rubinoff, the violinist, while over there?
No, I never did.
I don't think he was ever there.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
How did you meet Mrs. Sharkey, Roger?
I haven't met her yet, sir.
You haven't met her yet?
Not yet.
You mean you're a single man?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you explain this? Is it just a look at the Irish?
Well, I tell you, people sometimes come from the Irish Free State, you see, and you've got a certain amount of liberty there, see.
You keep making jokes like that, and England will let the other half of Ireland go, huh?
Well, they don't one half of it yet.
They don't?
No, they just one small portion of it now.
What sort of work does your husband do? Oh, no, I mean you. What sort of work does your husband do? You're married, I presume.
I am.
And what sort of work does your husband do?
He's a pastry baker.
Pastry?
And we have a little pastry shop on 1739 Northwestern Avenue in Hollywood.
Oh.
And if you ever be in that neighborhood, Groucho, I'd love to have you come and I'll serve you a good cup of coffee. Delicious
you-
apple strudel.
Throw apple strudel?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a good strudel manufacturer?
Well, I'll let my husband do the cooking and the baking.
How good a baker is your husband, just in case I might get carried away and order some of his pastry?
Pappchen is the best pastry baker in the whole country.
Was haben Sie gesagt?
Ich habe gesagt, Pappchen is the best pastry baker in the country.
That's his name, Papishan?
His name is Rudolph.
Oh. Is he the red-nosed Papishan?
That's right.
Well, I'd like to go on talking to you two, but the time has come to play You Bet Your Life. You selected geography. And remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. Now, what do you want to start with? You know, the easy questions are 10, 20, 30, 40, and then they get more difficult as you progress.
Shall we start with 100? 100.
$100, all right. In what range of mountains do you find Mount Blanc and the Jungfrau?
In Switzerland.
In what range of mountains?
Oh.
What is the mountains called?
Alps.
The Alps is right, yes.
Yes, you're off to a good start. You have $200.
Wanda, das ist sehr gut.
Oh, thank you.
Das ist der Alps, ja. Das kommt vom Scallops, ich denke. Sie haben 200 Taler. Was werden Sie tun diesmal? Wie viel?
$90.
$90. All right. In what country is New South Wales? Now, talk it over, your partners. Now, don't answer until you...
Australia.
Australia is right, huh?
You now have $290.
You have practically climbed the Jungfrau. You have now 290 Taler. Was werden Sie machen diese Mal?
80.
80. 80 Taler.
80.
Yeah. In what state is directly south of Kansas? Now, talk it over. Don't jump at conclusions. What state is directly south of Kansas? Here is Kansas. Now, what is underneath?
Arizona? No.
No, I'm sorry.
You lost half your $290. You now have $145.
All right, now don't get discouraged. You still have a lot of money. Now, this is the last one, the last chance to beat the other couples. What are you going to go for?
70.
70?
Okay.
In what country do you find the steps? S-T-E-P-P-E-S. Talk it over.
No, I wouldn't.
Talk it over. S-T-E-P-P-E-S. That's the way it's spelled. Well, take a guess if you don't know.
Austria? No.
No. It is Russia.
You wind up with $72.50.
Well,
Wonderful.
In the old days, you had to shift gears with clumsy controls like this. Wasn't easy. Later, the gear shift moved up in the world to the steering column. And then automatic transmissions brought complicated dials and levers that were impressive, but sometimes confusing. But now, here's the quickest, smoothest, easiest method of drive selection ever invented. DeSoto's great new push-button driving. A positive mechanical control. To put the car in any driving range, just push a button and go. DeSoto push-button driving is safer, too. It's out of children's reach, and it's designed so you can't make a mistake. Push-button driving is easier and safer. And to see just how fast and smooth it is, watch this professional stunt driver. Now, push-button driving is such an obvious improvement, competing cars will imitate it next year or the year after. But DeSoto has push-button driving now, so why wait? Tomorrow, drive a beautiful new DeSoto with push-button driving. You can enjoy the best this summer. Drive and price a DeSoto tomorrow. Groucho, we invited some young ladies who work for a swimsuit company to the show tonight.
Oh, you're cooking with gas.
And just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mrs. Lynn Armstrong to be on our show. Her partner is Mr. Tom Blazina. Folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to Your Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. The common word is something you find around the house. Lynn Armstrong, I presume that's you. That's you,
is.
huh? And Tom Blazina, that must be you, huh?
Right, sir.
Mrs. Armstrong, Mr. Fenneman says you're with a bathing suit concern. Is that true?
That's right.
Girls' bathing suits, I presume. huh?
Exclusively.
What company do you work for, Lynn?
Kohl's, California.
Are your bathing suits any different than other types?
Well, Kohl's swimsuits fit more people than most other swimsuits.
Could you give me that again?
Our
What do you
suits
mean, they
fit
fit
more
more
people.
Even
Well-
in a bathing suit, I should imagine three's a crowd.
Well, just one at a time, Groucho. But there, of course, is an average figure, and then there are many variations of the average
Yeah.
figure. And our suit is designed to fit the average figure plus the variation.
Like variations on a theme by Paganini? Would it be like anything
Something like that.
Mr. Blazina,
That's
where's your hometown?
Slavica, Croatia, Yugoslavia.
Well, Yugoslavia, and I'll go my way, huh? You come from Yugoslavia, huh? Marshal Tito country, huh?
That's right.
How old were you when you came to this country?
I was 11 years old.
How long have you been here?
I've been here 50 years.
And you came when you were 11?
11
And
exactly.
you're 61 years old?
Correct.
Well, you're a remarkable-looking man for 61. You look like Benny Rubin, only 10 years younger. What sort of work do you do, Tom? That's a kind of an odd name for a Yugoslavian, isn't it?
I'm a retired foreman. I don't work.
You don't work, huh? You don't work at all?
No, I don't.
You mean you've got a television show, too?
No, I watch yours, Groucho.
Well, that's work to some people. Are you married, Tom?
I am, Groucho.
Well, has anything exciting ever happened to you since you left Yugoslavia?
Well, Groucho, one of the greatest thrills of my life happened to me when we had an outbreak with Villa and General Pershing went down to Mexico to chase him. And we, of the National Guard units like Wisconsin, Illinois, and them, were sent up into one division on the Mexican border. And a young lieutenant just graduated a year previous to that by name of Eisenhower.
Tom, have you ever seen the president since those old days?
One of the greatest thrills of my life, Groucho, I prayed that when I was on the border that I'd have a boy like him. And when the cadets graduated in 1946, I watched the parade. I placed myself along the walk with thousands of people around. And as he was coming through, escorted by Maxwell Taylor, the superintendent of the academy at the time, he came up within about 15 feet from me. And when he did, I clicked to, braced up. I hollered out, "General Eisenhower, Sergeant Blazina, Fighting Irish, 7th Illinois, reporting, sir." Of course, I held a salute. My handshake's now, Groucho.
What did you do? Have you caught Marshal?
Well, it could have been all of that if he hadn't been a human being. General Taylor pulled him over. He thought he had a drunk on his hands, And Ike looked at me, jerked his arm away from Taylor, and walked up halfway. Big smile busted out over his face, and he saluted. When he did, I came to attention, and he made one leap for me and grabbed me around the neck and shook my hand and said, Sergeant, what are you doing here?" He thought I was that hunky on a border, I said, as he did that, tears rolled down my cheeks. I couldn't hold my emotion. I said, "General, my boy just passed in review for your approval." Grabbed me, Sergeant, come on up here. We got to tell these people where we were back 37 years ago. He said, "How long was that hike?" I said, "Well, it lasted about 3 weeks." How many miles?" I said, 213 miles. "That really was a tough hike, wasn't it, Sergeant?" I grabbed him around the neck. "Wait a minute. Didn't you ride a horse?"
This is not Eisenhower. Well, apparently you have a real devotion to the president, and I don't blame you. He looks like a real nice guy. Have you done anything to show him how much you like him?
I voted for him with all the sincerity at my command.
Just once?
Well, I got many thousands of others to go along with me.
If you'd have any kind of a friend, you'd have voted half a dozen times. I'm surprised you aren't the ambassador to Yugoslavia. Well, I'd like to continue this conversation, but the time has come to play You Bet Your Life.
In the race for the $2,500, the first couple won $72.50, and the secret word is clock.
Now, remember, we start you off with $100, and if you miss a question, you lose half of your bankroll. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. You selected American history, and remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. What do you want to start with? 10, 20, 50, all the way up to 100?
70.
70. Is that all right with you? One answer between you now.
Okay.
All right. The people of what country presented the Statue of Liberty to the United States?
France.
France is right.
You have $170.
All right, now what?
80.
$80. At what place in West Virginia did John Brown's historic raid take place? Talk it over.
That Hampton Ferry or Harper's Ferry, something like that. Hampton.
Harper's Ferry?
Harper's Ferry is right, huh?
You now have $250.
Did you say you were in the Civil War or the Mexican War?
Well, if we had more time, I'd sing you a song. But
Well, luckily our time is short. Now we have $250. Now what are you going to go for? Come on, little ones are
90.
easy. 90? When the Second Continental Congress established the United States Post Office in 1775, who did they pick to be the first Postmaster General? Talk it over. Who was the first Postmaster General? The Second Continental Congress. If you don't know, guess.
Hard or something like that. Hard.
No, it's Benjamin Franklin.
Well, you lost half your $250. You now have $125.
All right, you still got 125. What are you going to go for?
Let's go 100.
All right.
100. One of the great moments of history came with the surrender of Cornwallis to George Washington. Where did the surrender occur?
In New York.
Where did Cornwallis surrender to George Washington?
Cornwallis. Valley Forge.
And this is a pretty easy one. Even I knew this. It's Yorktown. That's too bad.
Well, you wind up with $62.50. Too bad. This is the California desert. A real desert of deep, loose sand, treacherous, soft shoulders, blistering heat. And this is a lovely 1954 DeSoto Automatic on the desert road. Now watch. We're driving this DeSoto Automatic out into the sand. In an ordinary car, it would be almost impossible to move or steer in this type of sand. Watch this, though. The world's newest and finest fully automatic transmission, Power Flight transmission, lets the DeSoto Automatic accelerate smoothly, steadily, evenly with great power, even here. And steering is simple, even through heavy, treacherous sand, with DeSoto full-time power steering. The power steering that works for you all the time, makes turning the steering wheel as easy as dialing a phone. There are hundreds of reasons why this lovely 1954 DeSoto deserves the name automatic. Reasons you should discover for yourself. Go to your DeSoto Plymouth dealer soon. See and drive the beautiful, stylish, distinctive 1954 DeSoto Automatic. It's available in two full series, the mighty 170 horsepower Fire Dome 8 and the brilliant Power Master 6. Convince yourself that this year, DeSoto puts you ahead.
We have a housewife for you now, Groucho. I read about her in the paper and called her up and asked her to be on our show. She's Mrs. Corinne Clark. Her partner is also a special guest, one of the Los Angeles City Councilmen, Mr. Gordon Hahn. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Ow. Corinne Clark and Councilman Gordon Hahn, huh? Councilman Hahn, it's an honor to have you here, and I'd like to shake your hand. Just a minute, I'll take this ring off, huh? Nothing personal, Mr. Hahn. I always slip my ring off when I shake hands with anybody in politics.
All right, you wouldn't
I want
have
to see if my cuffs are still here, huh? Gordon, by the way, is it all right for me to call a councilman by his first name?
Well, they call me Curly, normally.
I've heard of politicians make fantastic claims, but this one skins them all. Huh? Corinne Clark, huh? Is that the way you pronounce it, Corinne?
No, Groucho, it's Corinne.
Corinne, huh? Are you a housewife, Corinne?
Yes, Groucho.
Pretty good-looking housewife. What sort of work does your husband do?
He's a court reporter.
A cork reporter? You mean
Court.
pulls them out of bottles, huh?
No, he works in the court.
Oh,
He
in the
takes-
courtroom. Oh, I see. Gordon, how did you meet your wife? I presume you have a wife.
Oh,
huh?
I'm not married, Groucho.
You're not married.
No.
Some nerve. How can you be a city father if you're a bachelor?
It ain't easy.
No, it isn't. Well, is this a fairly lucrative job, a councilman? I mean, the pay that shows up on the tax return.
Well, councilman in Los Angeles had a raise once in a quarter of a century, and I think the people are going to have another chance this next year. We make, on an average, of approximately 20 cents more an hour than the head janitor.
So what's a head janitor? Is that
Well,
a psychoanalyst?
Well, he's in charge of the maintenance in the city hall, Groucho.
Oh. You'd do better as a plumber, wouldn't you, huh?
Well, the plumbers do get more per hour, yeah.
Carpenters, any
Yes, they
electrician,
all
eh?
get more.
Yeah. Of course, their jobs are more important, too. I mean, if the pipes in my bathroom are clogged up, a councilman wouldn't do me much good. Now, what are you city fathers doing about smog, Gordon?
Well, smog,
Besides choking over it like the rest of us.
the smog problem's in control of the smog control district. But
Yes.
the city council has two aspects of smog they can take care of. One is the incinerator, and you know we changed the hours of burning to let everyone know that the incinerator
Yes.
does puff smoke.
That's true, and now they have the stink in the evening instead of in the morning, huh?
The other is we're studying the problem of perhaps picking up combustible rubbish. We're the only large city in the United States that allows the burning of the combustible rubbish in the backyard.
It seems to me the only thing they do about the smog is each day I see a new man is appointed to the head of the board. Now, as a city official, Gordon, you must get a lot of requests, strange ones from your constituents, like drop dead.
Well, we do.
Have you had any other unusual demands?
Quite a few. Just this last week, the letters I received. One was on this garbage problem. A person suggested that we fly the garbage out to the desert.
I mean, Palm Springs? What is another one?
Another one was a request from a constituent asking that the children on the streetcars be prohibited from making faces at the pedestrians walking down the street. I don't know what we're going to do about that.
No, I don't think that's part of your job.
But those are
I
some
would
of
give
the-
that to the smog control. Huh?
Those are just a few of the
Well, you must lead a very
Unusual
interesting life, Gordon.
very interesting Groucho.
Now, Corin, you're a citizen of Los Angeles, and we have a councilman up here. Do you have any problems that you'd like taken care of?
Well, I have woodpeckers in my cocoa palms.
Could you give us that again? I'm not quite sure that that's what I heard.
I have woodpeckers in my cocoa palms.
You have woodpeckers in your cocoa palms?
That's right.
Well, keep your hat on and nobody will notice it. What in the blue blazes are you talking about?
Well, Groucho, about 3 weeks ago, I live in the valley, and a flock of woodpeckers came and took up residence in my 2 tall cocoa palms. They have since made my life miserable. They pound, and they squawk, and they start early in the morning. They disturb our sleep, our rest, our
How do you
peace
know it
and
is in the
quiet.
Western Union Telegraph office?
Well, they sound more like riveters than a linotype.
Well, you had a knotty problem there, Corinne. I'm sure the councilman and I could put our heads together and come up with some solution.
Oh, I hope so.
Gordon, what do you think we should do? And don't say raise taxes.
Well, generally when a new problem comes to the council, this is a strange one. We generally refer it to a committee for a 2-week study.
Yeah.
And I don't know just about this one, what we could do about it. I have ideas on it, but...
I don't think it's important what you do, as long as you form a committee. That's the main thing.
Well, we'll do that.
Well, now that we promised to do something about Mrs. Clark's woodpeckers, let's play You Bet Your Life.
In the race for the $2,500, the first couple still leads with $72.50.
You selected a general information quiz. And remember, the more the question is worth, the harder it is. Now, the little questions, you know, are easy. And the big money are the tough ones.
Well, let's try $90 the
All
first
right.
time.
All right, what Greek philosopher is associated with a lamp and a search for an honest man?
The lantern, the man went looking for a lantern.
Socrates.
No, it's Diogenes.
Diogenes, you know, it's on the front page of the Mirror with the lamp one year and the fog and Diogenes in the head. I'm sorry.
Well, that's a shame, huh?
Well, you lost half the 100. You now have $50.
Don't get discouraged. That was not too easy. Now, what are you going to try?
It's up to you. What do you
80?
think?
$80.
Try
80?
the 80.
What do you call 1/10 of a cent?
A mill?
A mill.
A mill is right.
You now have $130.
Now what?
$70.
All right.
What would you be charged with if you were arrested for striking another citizen?
Assault.
Assault and battery.
You now have $200.
Now, it's your last chance to be the other couples. What are you going to try?
$60.
$60. If a Kelly is a hat, what is a brogan?
It's a shoe.
That is right. A shoe. Brogan?
You wind up with $260. Whether you want a dependable car for that son in college, a second car for your wife's shopping trips,
or a late model low mileage family car, your DeSoto Plymouth dealer can serve you. He has used cars for every purse and purpose. So if you're in the market for a good used car at a really fair price, you'll be wise to hurry to your nearby DeSoto Plymouth dealer. And when you're there, look for the used cars bearing this TV sticker. TV stands for top value. Remember, your DeSoto Plymouth dealer is the only place in town where you can get top value used cars.
All right, here we go for $2,500. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully and please don't open the audience. The orchestra is going to play one of the best-known tunes in the world of music. For $2,500, I want you to tell me who wrote it. And away we go.
Wait a minute, let me see.
Who wrote it?
Longren.
I
Wedding
think it's
Market.
Richard Wagner.
Richard Wagner. What do you decide? What do you
Well,
decide?
Richard Wagner. I'll take the woman.
Oh, Richard Wagner is right. Right here, huh?
Boy, believe a woman.
That's right. Well, you sneaked through under the wire that time. If you weren't so bald, we would never have given it to you, huh?
I should have had that Diogenes, though. That bothers me.
You win $2,500 plus how much in the quiz, George?
$260 in the quiz.
What are you going to do with all that swag? Move back to Sacramento?
Well, no, I have an aunt, 80 years of age, who hasn't had a trip since she was in World War I as a Red Cross nurse. And
Well,
she
send her
has
to Sacramento.
Well, I'm going to try to get her a trip to Honolulu. She's always wanted to take it.
Well,
So-
that's a very, very nice thing to do, Gordon. And if she comes back wearing a grass skirt, I'll know who to blame her.